Hello, y'all, this Saturday night, and welcome to another edition of Black Men Being Brutally Honest. This is Kev, and yeah, I had to really sit back and think about doing this one. Yeah, just upon the news of the death of Tina Turner, which was on the 24th of May. And yeah, a lot has happened in the world of Black America since then, but thought I would give some attention to something that's been around since my early childhood. You know, the urban stories of what these celebrities have been through, and sometimes um, talking about celebrities is a slippery slope because it's really giving importance to people who are sometimes as human as you and me, but these things have a way of being, you know, involuntary participants in our everyday lives and how we view things. And if anything definitely shaped things for Black America and had it in a certain impedance on the Black relationship and how men and women look at each other through certain things, this couple right here uh, would definitely get a mention or two. If if you really have a wide concern for something like this. But yeah, um, I would even say in my early young life, the first I've ever heard of Ike Turner. Yeah, yes, it was the fact that he was a musician, but it was immediately associated with being a wife beater and abuser. Someone who calls this Tina Turner great pain throughout her life, and which was both physical and emotional. But there are many people who feel as if Ike got a bad rap and Tina wasn't all peaches and cream herself, and it would always be just like I said, is these are the kind of things that are difficult to talk about because physical abuse on a woman is such a serious subject. That no matter how much we say that we're telling the truth in these spaces, how brutally honest that we say we are, if you are truly of that, you will be as fair as possible and not base your opinions on just what whose gender is behind what. You know, and I say this with the reasoning that Tina Turner herself, it appears, had some demons herself. Not to say that if not to say that that she brought a lot of what Ike has allegedly done to herself. I mean, there's even spots where, in interviews where Ike, especially around the time the movie came out, What's Love Got to Do with It? There's even spots where Ike would even admit to putting his hands on Tina. And at that time, it's just not a good look because of the way our thinking has, changed and evolved from the way people used to think back then as to how people think right now. And is nothing that you could really keep is a black and white thing. The irony of this picture being black and white is black and white. If you even are accused of hitting a woman in 2023, then as a man and especially as a black man, you will end up on the losing end. And that's with the court. If you're somehow able to get past the legality of it, you will likely face the court of public opinion anyway. People shutting their doors to you. And Ike, this pretty much happened to. So, um, if anyone believes that Ike didn't struggle after all of this, then he and a lot of people would call what happened with Ike's life just desserts for what he did to Tina. This is a lot of people. I'm just trying to be fair here. But there's a lot of people that say Ike got a bad rap. and try to humanize them instead. So anyway, as you walk in, or if you're watching the replay of this, please, please, please hit that like button, and tell someone about this channel. So, so here we go. We got I'm listening in the house. Yeah, we got RPM, and we got Dane One. Now, I'll talk a little bit about Tina Turner, and what my initial view of her was. And this is all going on when I'm a kid. It's like, I had no idea about her time with the Ike and Turner, what Ike and Tina Turner Revue. Um, didn't really know anything about that. I was like, what, 7 or 8 years old, and then I started seeing stuff about what's love got to do with it. I think actually I was introduced to Tina Turner through another song, because like the 80s was kind of a I don't know, a time where things were just kind of transitioning and changing. People did more upbeat stuff, beat stuff that sound like you should be listening to it on a beach side or some shit like that. Just if you go back to like any of the older 80s films, like Beverly Hills Cop, and 48 Hours, something of that style, the ambience of those environments is what encompasses the 80s, and Tina Turner was a huge part of that. Tina Turner was a huge part of it. She was all over the television. I used to watch a lot of MTV and a lot of BET. And one thing I did notice right offhand was how Tina Turner was more on MTV than she was on BET. But, I just like, oh well. Then I just a little thing, just like nothing real serious. I watched both, but I knew there was a immediate difference between the music that black people listen to generally, and the pop culture music that was being pushed, by the media at the time. And Tina Turner, I would have to say, if nobody remembers, she was being pushed as this pop culture icon. You know, she used to be on tours on the levels of, Whitney Houston and Michael Jackson and all of them. She was she was something big once she left the Ike and Tina Turner Review. So yeah. So anyway, yeah, but there was always this shadow looming, I would say. You would hear I would hear my mother and my grandmother, talking about the stuff that they heard on the TV and such. And they would talk about in like murmurs, how what she went through with Ike. And I hear little comments about it every now and again. And then, when you as you get a little older, um, you start hearing songs like Proud Mary, and you'll hear, like I said, oh, more grown people talk about the two, and really from a musical standpoint, because my dad, he loved music, and my dad and mom used to talk about this shit stuff too. And the one main thing you would hear is just like how, horrible that Ike was to Tina. Phil Brad says Queen of Rock and Roll. Yeah, 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 yeah. You discover all of this stuff, as you take a further, more of a look into it. So, yeah, so I didn't think that a woman beating a man was a good thing ever. In fact, is it was like the only way that I could look at Ike Turner. I knew he was a musician, and I knew that he was someone who was married to Tina, and he was more in the background while Tina was up front singing and performing, and becoming the cultural success that she would eventually become. But I didn't know how much of a contribution that Ike made to the music business. Not at the time. In certain years, I would come to learn all of this, but yeah, but it was always mostly, Ike beat Tina. Then the movie came out. What's love got to do with it? Christopher the Conqueror. Yo, I've been waiting on this one all week. That's good to hear. Yeah. Um, yeah, what's love got to do with it? And and please chat by all means. Like the guys comment in the chat right now, participate. Let me know what you think. What's love what got to do with it came out. And I would say one of the things that I did to prepare for this broadcast right here is I actually watched this film. I watched it back in the day, but it's like the film itself is very cringe to watch. It's very it's very cringe to watch. You would think that Ike Turner just went from this local musician. I mean, which the hometown hero part was right. I mean, if you do a little research, but you just think he just went from musician that just swept Tina Turner off her feet to coked out monster. Ike started rock and roll. Like, well, for men like him and Chuck Berry, yeah, they sure did. I mean, a lot of people would try to credit Elvis Presley with that, but no, it was definitely Ike Turner and, like I said, guys like Chuck Berry. So, yeah, man, this movie came out, and when the movie came out, people were quoting the film, like, kind of as jokes because we all kind of joked on it, but we knew the seriousness of it. I mean, two scenes in particular. One when the commercial came out, the ad for this film, they featured the "You Trying to Help Ike" scene. Now we'll get into that in a second. I got a few things pulled up here. Uh, they put that in the commercial, and kids at school like, "You trying to help Ike? You trying to help Ike?" And once you see the film, you would understand, why that scene isn't such a joke. In fact, it was probably the cringiest scene in the film, and later would be reported as a complete fabrication. So yeah, I mean, people underestimate the impact of media. They don't understand the meaning of the word based on rather than to say, the people took this movie as a 100% account of what actually happened. Now, I will say this: if you put your hands on a woman at any time, you should never let yourself get to that point. You should always walk away. I mean, unless you are defending yourself and trying to preserve your personal and physical well-being. If anyone is a threat to you, male or female, then by all means do what you got to do. But, if you bring yourself to the point where you feel like that you got to hit someone in order to change the situation, you need to learn to control yourself or just walk away. I can't say that all situations are the same. I can't say that. I can't say, but this movie, I would say if you took this movie as just a movie, then okay. But if you took this movie as a true account of what happened between Ike and Tina Turner, then you would really hate Ike Turner. I would say this: Lawrence Fishburne knows how to play a good villain. I would say that, and whatever reason he played this role the way he did, he got the point across. Like I say, we do not condone the abuse of women in any way, shape, or form. The abuse of any kind. Let me just put this disclaimer up here. YouTube channel does not condone the abuse of a human being in its many forms. So I'm not here to make light of what happened with Tina Turner. Okay. But the film did make it look like it was a little extreme for from actual accounts of people who were actually involved with Ike and Tina Turner. And some of the opinions weren't that high. Many would say that they never that actually were around Ike and Tina. They would say that they never seen Ike and Tina fight. It was always done behind closed doors. A couple would say that they never fought in front of the kids. And in the movie, he did all that shit. Hit it. Ike would even on an interview go on to say that he who didn't hit Tina any more than a wife, husband hits his wife, and it's like, no, bro, don't say nothing like that. That's not helping your case. So let's talk about it. Did Ike get a bad rap? Did Tina is Tina innocent, and did she react in a way that a person is trying to keep themselves safe to react, or people are just not telling the whole story? All right, you figure that out for yourself as I show you these things. All right, so anyway, let's do this. All right, so let's go. So I did some things on Google just to get some basic information. And as you Google, you'll find out that Tina Turner is listed as a Swiss singer. Now, hearing little stories here and there about how Tina was actually as a person, is not. She doesn't get very high marks. I mean, I mean, you could base it off what she might have went through with Ike, or how it changed her personality. But once you listen to how some of these people actually speak of Tina, you can actually be the judge for yourself. I mean, I've heard many things about many people that have completely shattered my childhood image of them. But yeah, what I know Tina Turner as, like a pop culture icon. That's what I know her as, a pop culture icon. And what did I say in my what what did I say in my community post? A timeless beauty or something like that. In fact, let me hold on a second. Let me go to my community tab, which inspired this conversation, so I can let you guys know let you guys know some of the things that people said about her. And I'm trying to use this broadcast as a way of responding to uh certain folks. Let's see. Yeah. Go visit my community tab sometimes. All right, here we go. All right. I said, rest in peace to a timeless beauty and an energetic performer, Tina Turner. Eternal salute. I'm sure if I'd have had a YouTube channel with a community tab back in December of 2007, probably would did the same thing for Ike Turner. Oh shit, let me go back. I just wanted to show y'all some of the comments that were made up under here. All right, so we got Great as Me saying R.I.P. Queen, one of the grand ladies of music and entertainment. Christopher the Conqueror says R.I.P. to a true great. Hybrid Catastrophic Impact X83rd Power says life comes and goes. King K, the messenger, said she disliked being black. Oscar '01, I guess, agrees. Jimmy Jackson, we don't need another hero. That's one of her songs. The Roger Report. Make sure I like all these. I like when people leave comments. RIP indeed. King Triple D says, no, she married a Palian. I'm keeping that energy. And the Don, three laugh emojis. Uh yeah. So I get it, I just don't like to react like a divester reacts every time one of us goes to the hereafter. I mean, somebody saying, well, they do it, I'm one thing is like to make fun of a dead person just because they did certain things, or acted like they deserve it. I mean, unless you have like a really good reason, it'll be a bit classless. Like somebody, just because somebody said something that you don't exactly agree with, means that they deserve what they got, or anything like that. The pro-black understanding is that you're supposed to be with someone that is of your ethnicity. I don't really care about all that. I mean, it does, but it does matter in how you carry yourself as a black person when you go down certain roads. Like, I doubt that you could be a black person and say something like, "I don't like them niggas," and be married to a white person and think that shit's gonna gonna skate. And but I will say this, like, black men far more forgiving from what I've seen when black women date out. You can see it in the comments. Not every black man in these comments had something negative to say. You had this is positive, positive. Uh, you got positive, positive. Just is I think black men are pretty split, and I just would say that if it comes from a genuine place, maybe you do have your reasons for thinking, uh, uh, your reasons for not liking Tina Turner. But I mean, yeah, I'm not gonna make it because make it because of the stupid reasons. I would like for if it has to be a good reason. I'll say that, and that's for anyone. So let's just take a look at certain things. Um, all right, taking a look at Tina. She's a Swiss singer, apparently. I don't know. Maybe she bought citizenship into Switzerland. Yeah. What's her husband's name? I don't even know her husband's name. When they say married to aliens, a Palian. So let's look at Tina Turner. Okay, it popped up right here. Tina. His name is Erwin Bach. Um, yeah, that's who she was married to at the time of her death. Um, so they said Tina Turner husband a billionaire. They said Tina Turner's husband Erwin Bach isn't a billionaire, but he's plenty wealthy with an estimated net worth of $50 million. He's worth $50 million. Wonder how much Tina is worth. All right. So Hello Magazine on May 26, 2023 says who will inherit Tina Turner's no. Okay. Who will inherit Tina Turner's 250 million net worth after her death? So her husband was worth 50 million and she's worth 5 times that. So um I'll just throw that out there for anyone that wants to have an opinion on that, but it's whatever. Love is love, right? Love is love. So, from what has been reported, it looks like it's going to be Erwin Bach that inherits like a lot of her wealth. I don't know where the other wealth is getting allocated. I'm not again. I'm not one of these people that care too much about this stuff. I mean, about where the money is going. You often hear people say that when a black man marries a white woman, all his wealth is going to white people when it's just going to his kids and whoever else he decides. So I kind of feel the same way about this, but people have a right to bring up their points if they want to discuss the hypocrisy of certain things. So yeah, we're here to talk about whether Ike deserved the bad rap he got, and does Tina, is Tina a completely, I would say, clean human being? Was she as visceral as I would say how Judge Joe Brown described her? So, let me put a fair use on the screen real quick. Put a fair use on the screen real quick, so I can play what Joe Brown said about her. I know it ain't too many people in here, but for you, those of you, I hope you at least press the like button. Likes are for free; they're for the algorithm, and to remind you that the smoke show is tomorrow night. So there you go, fair use. Let's do a fair use. Got Toya in the building. What's going on? Okay, so let me share the screen once again. Yeah, yeah, there it is. All right, this is supposed to be We All Be TV. Let me speed this up a little bit. And this is actually Joe Brown doubling down. I mean, because he has said it before. Maybe I'll look for that clip and play it for you guys later. But okay. So all right. Tell me what y'all think of this. Do y'all think that Judge Joe Brown went a little bit too far? Or is his quote unquote testimony credible in this? So definitely fair use. Fair use.
Waved and it was Tina. She rolled down like, little picking any motherfucker, did I give you permission?
And she got this HBO documentary out where I guess they bashing Ike, all this stuff. I know you tell some stories about Tina Turner.
Yeah, I encountered Ike a lot when I was growing up in LA. He and Tina had matching Rolls Royces. If you got Ike, he'd always roll the window down. He always had a dude riding with him. And Ike would stop and talk to us. He'd send his guy off in the Rolls to come back. He'd get burgers for everybody. So many fries, he'd be throwing them away and Cokes and everything. And he would talk to us about staying in school, don't do drugs, keep your nose clean, get your shit together, start having a purpose. And he always talked that way. If you waved and it was Tina, she rolled down like, little picking any motherfucker, did I give you permission to wave at you, you little ass motherfucker? Like, damn, girl. She was always foul with a little 5'1" or 2 that self. Fine. But I mean, she was bad. She had a reputation for being a pimp in Memphis. A pimp.
Okay.
He said that she was a pimp in Memphis. Now, I mean, if you watch enough of these reality documentaries, you would understand that there were black women who were drug baronesses and pimps and did all that shit. And so this isn't too far fetched. I mean, especially for one of the stories that Ike told about, how he used to get girls out of the club and how he used to recruit Ikeettes. And, Tina was fully participative in all that. She used to help him get girls to, do whatever with. But we'll get into that. But
And Ike rescued her. And I had him on my show twice. And after it aired, I wound up running into him at Spago's out in Beverly Hills. We had a talk. And he said, man, Judge, they just made me. I said, look, brother, I know you. And I told him where I knew him. He said, you know that? I said, yeah. So I was one of those boys you talked to and kept straight. One of the reasons I didn't fall in all that mess like so many did. Listening to you, home. He said, well, thank you. And see, he said, I didn't know they're going to badmouth me like that. I said, I know. And I said, I'm from been in Memphis. I was the public defender in private practice. And some of my pimp clients told me about their colleague. He said, you heard about that? I said, she was good, but she was brutal. I said, yeah, that's what my pimp clients told me about that woman she drug around foot homes and drug her kneecaps off, and she couldn't walk after she tied behind the car. Yeah, I used to represent her. I said, damn, that was rough. I said, yeah. Now, guess what he was in my courtroom for?
What?
He and his wife at the time had a foundation. And what the foundation was is battered and abused women could apply to the foundation for an advance. If they actually wound up leaving the guy, it was a gift. If they went back to him, it was a loan. So
yeah, so that's Joe Brown explaining that Ike Turner actually had a foundation for abused women. And he gave them the choice of, if you okay, you'll get a donation, you'll get sort of a head start for leaving a relationship, but if you go back you had to pay it back, which doesn't sound like a bad idea on paper. I would say that. All right, let's continue. Fair use.
So the two instances he was in front of me was suing people who had signed the contract that you get this money so you can get yourself an apartment, car, get the hell away from this. But both of them went back, so they were suing him. So does that sound like the description you get from Tina? Tina's the evil witch. Now, another thing, went to a family barbecue. It was over here in Baldwin Hills in LA.
Mm-hmm.
And me and some guys who played football at UCLA, we were not UCLA, Dorsey High, we were throwing football.
Mm-hmm.
So we said, isn't that Ike Turner? I said, yeah, it's Ike Turner, your neighbor. So anyway, he looked up, we waved, and he took his gloves off, dusted his hands. He was down there on his knees with a trowel working in the flower bed. So he comes on down, shakes everybody's hand, asks us how we were doing, noted we'd been playing ball. Did we play ball? Yeah, how's the team doing? We told him, yeah, stay in school and all that. And he smiled, waved, walked on back. Mm-hmm. About 10 minutes later, Tina storms out the back door. And she's mad at him because from the conversation, it sounded like he just was drawing a blank, and she wanted him to come up with these lyrics, and he's trying to explain, that's why I'm out here. I'm trying to think, give me a moment. She got the cussing. I ain't got a goddamn moment, blah, 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 blah. She was a perfectionist in her art. So anyway, he said, well, baby, it's just not coming. I'm trying to get it together. And she started using all these MFs and everything else. And he said, tell some kids down there, fuck them little motherfuckers, blah, 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 blah. So she stormed.
I'm so I'm sorry, y'all. I mean, I don't know if I ever remember a woman in my life growing up acting like that. I mean, it 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 was maybe one, but not to the extent that Joe Brown was saying Tina did. And like I said, man, I guess they get married to the saying "never meet your heroes" because you have one image of them that you've seen on TV and how the Hollywood and the media paints them, and then you have the very real side of them. And the way Joe Brown was talking about Tina Turner is Tina Turner was just pure evil to him. But again, Judge Joe Brown is someone who has been labeled as crazy in certain things and knowledgeable in others. So everybody has their opinion about certain things. So
back in the house. About 5 minutes later, she just got me. Fuck this shit. I'm sick of you, goddamn it. You get your shit ass mind together. And she picked up one of these big shaped rakes, that's got the cast iron head to it. Looks like a comb. She picked that thing up and bam, right across his back. And I said, damn, I know that hurt. So what the hell's wrong with you, woman? Fuck you, motherfucker. I ain't got no time for you to think. Bam, hit him again.
Oh God. Wow.
And it was
God damn. Now, okay. What I said earlier was there's no excuse for a man to would sit up there and just get so angry with a woman to the point where he has to hit her in order to solve a problem. What Joe Brown just described was Tina hitting Ike with an object because he couldn't get himself together on some lyrics that he had to write for his song, and saying that Tina was a perfectionist because she was a performer. I mean, she was a hit performer, and that's what people who perform at the highest level in whatever they do are. I will give an example. Michael Jordan, he was a perfectionist, so I wouldn't doubt that Ike or Tina had that mentality with themselves. But for him to say like she hit him with an object, meaning that that she might have had some complicitness in how the relationship was as well, because that's not normal shit for anybody to just flat out hit you with an object, no matter no matter what's going on. That shit's not normal. So that right there really is starting to paint the picture that if there was any kind of hitting, it seemed like it was more so fighting than just outright just abuse and maliciousness. Now, uh, like I said, the way Ike used to interview about this shit, it wasn't a good look for him at all. So I'll show you something about that as well. But anyway, let this continue somewhat.
embarrassing to the man because there were about 15, 20 people looking at this. So she stormed off in the house. She came back out, got the cussing. He said, well, goddamn it. He walked off in there. You could hear him yelling and shit. And then you could hear crash. And she said, take that, motherfucker. And he said, I'm sick of you. I've had enough of your goddamn funky ass. And she took off running out of the back door. So it looked to me like she provoked that thing. And if he broke, snapped, and kicked the ass, I could understand. I mean, you aren't supposed to hit women, but you can get a peaceful dog and provoke them to being vicious, or attacking.
I know with Ike, what I read, because Tina Turner was still close to Ike when he died, and she kept his last name for a reason because he's rock and roll royalty. I mean, he's a pioneer in rock and roll. But like the thing about it was when he first started, I think B.B. King said it was the greatest band leader he ever saw. But he was really a strict taskmaster. If he caught you doing drugs, he kicked you out the band.
Yeah,
but when he got on drugs, it messed him up. He was bipolar too.
Well, that's what came out when he was on the show. But see, you know where he found Tina?
Where?
She did an impromptu appearance on a talent show they had at the Club Paradise.
In Memphis, okay.
That's where he discovered. You know that thing, proud motorcycles not allowed in at 25, the speed limit? If you go up to Flatbush.
Well, it sounded like it was a very tumultuous relationship. Like I said, if you went by the movie itself, then like I said, it just painted. She just like it made it sound like that she just went head over heels for Mike. Not for Mike, for Ike. Just head over heels for Ike, and she had to sing for him. And it's, I guess, which is halfway true. But hold on.
Tennessee, which is right across the county line from Shelby County. There is an old, well, I used to ride a motorcycle back when, and there is an old convenience store
get
Yeah.
enough credit. I mean, he's a music
Get me
genius.
some of
Oh
this.
yeah.
He was a music genius. And Phil Spector spoke at his funeral of all people. Phil Spector said they did a number on Ike. That's the dude who killed a white woman in his mansion. That Phil
Yeah.
Spector.
Well, what I'm saying is they did a number on him. See, that was pushing that narrative of toxic masculinity before we said toxic masculinity. That was a game. He said, I never did all those things to that woman. In fact, my pimp clients were saying when I ran into him, remember that movie, What Love Got to Do with It?
Yeah.
Remember the housekeeper who supposedly killed herself?
Mm-hmm.
All the pimps claimed Tina shot that woman. She popped a cap on somebody for looking cross-eyed.
Well, did you hear the Randy Jackson story that they say Randy Jackson was almost killed by Tina? She tried to kill Randy Jackson. You ever heard
She
that
was a
story?
violent woman. Now, another instance I saw her.
I'll say this. I'm gonna stop this video right here, and I'll say this about the Randy Jackson because I did pull that up. This is an article by TMZ, and yeah, there's a couple other sources that say something about this. Randy Jackson, the Jackson kid brother. Hold on a second. Let me make sure everything is still good. Okay. Let me see. Yeah, Randy Jackson, the Jackson kid brother, saying that. Yeah, Tina Turner shot me. I have the scar to prove it. Uh, Look, Randy Jackson was no spring chicken himself. In fact, I think Randy Jackson was arrested for abusing his wife. I mean, and it just sounds to me like, look, when you think about, like I said, when you think about these celebrities, you shouldn't think of them as these perfect fucking people who are just a victim of circumstance. There's some evil motherfuckers out there. There's some evil motherfuckers out there. And like I said, the way Joe Brown painted that shit, he painted it like Tina was just the most evil person in the world. And they used this whole situation to push a narrative. And that the movie itself, what love got to do with it, um what love got to do with it fit into that genre, of movies like Waiting to Exhale and movies like The Color Purple. I mean, they were all meant to just, they seem like to just wreck the black relationship and, just have it more female leaning than male leaning. There is a level of accountability though that, we men do have in all of this. Like, number one, like I said, according to 2023 standards, you shouldn't be putting your hands on anyone because these women can mess you up. Now, at one time, they would say that Teen like I'll show you somewhere Tina said something about Africans being lazy, but um, she was supposed to be cast in The Color Purple, but she turned it down. I see why she turned it down because it was supposed to be for the role of Suge Avery. And for anyone who's watched that movie knows that Suge Avery was kind of a loose woman, I would say. And maybe it was because Tina didn't want that image for herself. The article does go and say, they said, casting The Color Purple, what director Steven Spielberg calls his first serious film, proved to be more difficult than he had expected. After signing Whoopi Goldberg, then unknown, for the lead of Sealy, he hoped to sign Tina Turner for the singing role of Suge Avery. He planned to eliminate the lesbianism in the novel and film for only one sweet kiss between Sealy and Suge, but he wanted Whoopi Goldberg to feel comfortable. If I'm going to kiss a woman, please let it be Tina. uh, See, Tina was also a first choice of the writer, the producer, and the casting director. Damn, they really wanted her to play Suge. See, the reason why they wanted her to play Suge was because of the fact that she had been through what she had been through with Ike, and she would have brought that energy to that role. And because it was Tina Turner, the character of Suge Avery itself would have been um, people would have more empathized, based on the what the real person had actually been through as far as their understanding of an abusive relationship. So, Tina Turner, from a marketing standpoint, yeah, would have been great for The Color Purple if she had accepted the role or she was able to somehow do it. But she went and did Mad Max instead, something that was a departure from all of that stuff. and I guess it was for a good reason. So let me see if I can. Oh, okay. This is an interview where Tina, like I said, fair use. And man, this is back in 1976, where she says Africans are very lazy people. Speed this up a little bit. I don't know if it's gonna. Yeah, they probably gonna hit me up anyway with some copyright stuff, but fair use anyway. So
We know we came like from Africa, and sort of our attitudes and our way of life sort of esteems from the African way. And they, I think like this sort of, I'm only speaking now like from something I haven't really looked into, but I get that Africans are sort of very lazy people. They're not very aggressive. They sort of want to live off the land, and they're very comfortable, which is great if you can do that. If you're in a position to be able to do that. But I um, I felt that they enjoyed our performance there, but I have to be inspired by something when I go to Europe. I enjoy it because the people there are very fashionable, and it's just fun. I mean, all we do is work. We check in a hotel, and we go on stage, and we go to the airport. So you have to feel some kind of inspiration from a city, right? So when I go back to Africa, I'm very down because like the food isn't good. I don't get any really good, fantastic vibes from the people. So I'm just really forward. We know we came.
wow, wow. She said Africans are lazy. It bums her out to be there. Mm. And I don't know if you want to like use that to the point of self hatred. That's fine, but a lot of people don't speak highly of Africans because Africans don't speak very highly of Americans, obviously. And at some point, many people would feel that that has to stop. But this was back in 1976. We're still having these conversations today in 2023. Excuse me. So I mean, shit. So if you want to know where a lot of these tense conversations came from, it probably came from the mouth of people like Tina Turner. She said they just want to live off the land. They don't have, how that translates to me is they don't have cush little hotels that you can stay in or neighborhoods where you can mow the lawn. They might have that in some parts, but a lion just be running through that motherfucker. I mean, is they acted like I guess the American image of Africa, despite having some of the most beautiful architecture in the world, that for the most part in the traditional parts, they still trying to live with like in huts and stuff, and Tina can't imagine having a life being in that. I guess after years and years of living exquisitely like a rich person, someone would probably have that attitude. Like, yeah, it's just the whole Africa conversation. I would go deeper into that, but some of the things I've seen, if I actually went into talking about it, it might seem offensive to some, but the Africans that came over to America, and that I've met and I've run across, they seem like they're pretty cool people. They're able to adapt to the lifestyle just fine. It's not like they came out of a hut, got onto a plane, and then just touched down in America. And sometimes those there's some very cool ones and there's some bad ones. There's some cool ones in America, cool black people in America, and there's some black bad ones. I mean, nobody's ever discounting that. But do you think that she gave an unfair view of what Africa was based on the things that you heard from even this point in history to 2023? I'm not saying that she's right in saying whatever she's saying, and for whatever reasons she's saying it for. I would say that she was probably being a bit snooty about things, and to denigrate any group of people is bad. So let me see. So here's an interview with Ike Turner fucking his life up. So yeah, they was sitting up here talking about this is like a report from a tabloid talk show when the movie What's Love Got to Do with It first came out. Speed this up. Yeah, I don't know if speeding up gonna make a difference to some of these folks, but shoot, we can try, but fair use anyway. So I just want you to listen to some of this.
Ike, I want to read something from the May issue of Vanity Fair. It says, quote, Ike Turner struck Tina on a regular basis for 16 years. With everything from shoes to coat hangers, once putting a burning cigarette to her lips.
Okay, okay, I can stop you. I know where you're going. Okay, with all of this, if you look at Tina, you see any of those scars, she said I broke her jaw on it. If you ask a doctor can tell you, if I broke her jaw, no way is she going on stage.
You admit that you have slapped Tina before, but why, Ike?
She would be walking around looking sad, looking sad with a lip drop, and I keep asking her, and what is the matter with you? What's wrong? And it's always, nothing. And it would go on for a day or two till finally, why the don't you? And then this is where I would slap her or something. Then she would change her mood or attitude or something. Let me tell you, I would say this. I would do no more to Tina, and I did no more to Tina than I would want somebody to do to my mother.
Tina has said that after a while, making love to you was like rape.
That's another lie. The boy, that chick, I swear, boy, they ain't missing no. Look, I had there are very few I guess that I had that I didn't go with. If it's anything, man, I never even had time. I wanted to make love at home. I mean, unless it was through guilt that I don't.
Do you ever regret anything that happened between you and Tina?
No, but I don't see why I should be put down on whatever I did for 18 years that we were together, man. It fed us, it slept us, it raised our kids, it put them to school, it did whatever we did. And so I don't know how all of this could have been bad.
We never, ever do nothing nice and easy. For Screen Scene, I'm Mary Major Jack.
All right, just by that little bit that he said, it was just, look, dog, why are you like just kind of chill, bruh? Give us something to work with or something. Like it's like he said that she would walk around a couple days moping and shit, and then he would smack her, and then that's when she stopped acting like that. And that's not a good look. Like, and I give you guys a reason why that. I mean, amongst many reasons why that's not a good look. All right, I want y'all to watch the rest of this.
Make sure you tune in tomorrow for part 3 of our exclusive interview with Ike Turner.
Throughout our series, Ike has told his side of the story, and today he responds directly to clips from the film.
I just need a rest. She's quite ill, and I'm not releasing her for at least another 3 weeks. I need you to get out on that stage right now.
That's a lie. That's an outright lie right there. When my son was born, I was not there. I had nothing to do with her going back on stage. She got out of bed and jumped on this girl because this girl was turning tricks saying she was Tina Turner. Tina didn't want to be known as like she was a hooker. And Tina whooped the girl up, and she went on and did on stage. I think maybe my son was a day old or something.
So okay, after she had the baby, he's claiming that she beat up a woman and went on stage the next day. It wasn't her. It wasn't him dragging her out of bed or dragging her out of the hospital in the middle of the night and then proposing marriage to her, like the movie said. But I'll put the link to this video in the description. If you wanted to watch the rest of it for yourself. Let me see. Yeah, but I don't know, man. Oh yeah, I gotta show y'all this one too. Okay, article that starts out just plain fucking wrong. I mean, like I said, if Ike was really trying to make a case for himself, and trying to get you to kind of look at his legacy versus what the movie tried to paint, I don't believe that he did a very good job. I just don't believe, that that's something that he was able to do a very good job of, and it just messed up for him. But just want to read a couple paragraphs out of this, and this is a very long article. It's Ike Turner, Why I Beat Tina. Ugh. Jesus. Yeah, this is a pretty long article. Let's see. Pretty long article. Let's see. For the sex, drugs, and so down. Talking about he was the son of a preacher. He went through some things in his life. Let's see. Oh, okay. Here we go. Now this is kind of interesting. Said if I really wanted to talk shit about Tina, I could. She and her saxophone player boyfriend, talking about Raymond Hill, one of the kings of rhythm, and early Ike Turner band, were living in my house in East St. Louis. Like she had a live-in boyfriend. I mean, I think they went through the part where she stayed with Ike for a night, but they was making it like the housekeeper shot herself because of it. But they didn't flesh out everything. They just kind of went to the things that they wanted to go to and exaggerate those parts for dramatic effect. Said he got Tina pregnant. I get mad at him because he made Tina go downstairs while he went upstairs to ball another woman. where does she come off sounding so innocent these days? Yeah, that's it. And he turned out and said, Tina even got girls for me. I didn't do anything with her that I wasn't doing when we first met. She get eye cats for me. I was with them. She knew that. There were times I'd be on stage and I see a pretty girl out there. And I did say to her, see that girl? Tell her to meet me over at the house. See that one? Go put her in the car. Tina did this for 4 years. I was never phony. She knew what I was going she knew what was going on. When we were living together later on, she did the same thing. I didn't threaten or force her to do this. There were times in the studio she'd bring me and the girl I was with food. Why is she so angry now? She never was then. Oh, wow. Yeah, because I will say this: playing the victim for the public eye to see gets you, I guess, gets these women a lot of points. It's like, let me put it to you like this: if you think it was bad back then, how is it now? You know, when a man is accused of doing something to a woman. And Ike Turner is one of these stories that, you know, it is mostly, when you hear of Ike Turner, it's a lot of brothers will use the examples of who they don't want to be. Every time, every time you hear of a black man doing something to a woman, that's what his reputation gets marred in, is that he's known as a woman beater. I'll give you an example, a more recent example: Chris Brown. Chris Brown will probably barely to never escape the shadow of what happened in that car that evening with him and Rihanna. There were people that will always bring that shit up to that man's dying day, just like they did with Ike Turner when he passed back in 2007. Is it justified? Nope. Well, I mean, it's a lot of people think that the whole Ike Turner thing was justified. I mean, what would always just do it for people is that the fact that he put hands on a woman. And this is how we look at society. If you put your hands on a woman, it's your fault if you're a man. Shoot, I don't know. I don't know. But if Ike's own reputation didn't do him in, this movie right here definitely did. And was it called for? Who knows? Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. But I'm just saying this, brothers. If you are in a situation with a woman and, like I said, you put your hands on her, just get ready. Your life is over with. And that's just how the cookie crumbles. In different interviews, bandmates said was enough more than like believing you're a white writer's not the way. No, I didn't. I mean, I'm not saying like I know much of that movie was fabricated. I know much of the movie, and they did it for dramatic effect. And it would have been a bit controversial, especially at that time, to tell the whole truth about what happened, to not pull any punches on Tina Turner, because we do in this society look at women in such a way that protects them even when they're the bad guys. The information about women being pimps and being gangsters and drug baronesses, that stuff is recent. I mean, you would hear about it in, like law enforcement documentaries, but it was nothing that ever really caught interest in the public eye because we have this intrinsic belief that all women are innocent. you know. And this movie painted the picture like she was the victim. This is a man's legacy versus the victimization of an icon. And in fact, both of them were kind of, you know. Hold on, let me see if I can find that other clip of Tina. I can't. I'm sorry. I had another clip of Tina I thought I had pulled up, but nope. I know. Alan Lavelle says there are three sides to the story: Ike's side, Tina's side, and the truth. Mm, mm. So, Chat, what do you believe? Do you believe that there was that Ike completely got a bad, unfair rap? Do you believe that, or do you believe that Tina is justified and she got to live the life she wanted and the life that she deserved just because of her tumultuous dealings with Ike Turner? Look at some of these. Ang Holloway said Pam Grier or Bernadette, the daughter on Good Times, who is more beautiful, definitely easily Bernadette. Yeah, yeah, I think I'm from Good Times. I give her props. I've even heard her props before. I admitted that it was kind of easy to have a crush on her when Good Times was on the air. I mean, it's still in syndication, but yes, definitely a classic beauty. So is Pam Grier. I mean, I guess you said that to be in comparison with Tina Turner, but I don't know what Tina like outside of her '80s run. I mean, she became a nostalgia piece. Like she didn't really, just hit the upper echelon. I mean, her candle burned brightest for a short time. I put it like that. Then I guess when she married old boy, then she kind of faded back in the background. Mm, yeah, but I pretty much said what I was gonna say here. Yeah, just giving a perspective. Just what I grew up, understanding about what this couple was, what they meant to the culture itself, and the 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 tumultuous story that went along with it. So I don't know. I hope you enjoyed it. I think I did okay with it. I wasn't gonna sit here and talk about what a monster Ike was. I mean, it's just it was a different viewpoint back then than it is right now. And have we gotten better and have we progressed further since then? Now in 2023, sure, sure. I mean, we did. We just don't go around hitting women anymore. And I mean, I just want to leave y'all with this thought right here. Um, Look at this man right here, Jonathan Majors. Look at Jonathan Majors. He's allegedly looked at a female wrong, and his career is almost over. If the Ike and Tina review was a thing in 2023, how good do you think that Ike Turner were fair? He wouldn't. Not at all. That Ike is smaller than Tina? What? Is he? Shoot, Judge O'Brown said that she was 5'1". So if Ike's smaller than that, god damn. Shoot. But look what's going. Well, look what's going on with Jonathan Majors right now. It's like he didn't even hit her, and there's witnesses that say that he wasn't even the aggressor. and his career still might be over. So if that would have happened to if that would happen to Jonathan Majors, what do you think that people would think of Ike Turner in 2023? They would call him all kinds of POSs. Shit, we got people who hate we got people who hate black men for telling the truth. Black men that ain't do shit. Just imagine how they would feel about someone like an Ike Turner. How they feel about him now. I mean, well, Ike Turner is more past tense. He died back in '07. So anyway, there's not much going on right now. I think I'm gonna end it here. Hopefully, I did make some kind of point. You know what I'm saying? Just just things aren't always what they seem. And like I said, I don't condone the abuse of women in any way, shape, or form. But I will say this: if Tina's attacking people with objects, I can kind of see how it happens sometimes. There's a whole layer to this story that a lot of people don't see and don't understand, especially for people who were very big into this stuff and who were adults back then. I mean, they only saw one side of it, and it really like thing is Ike Turner's a black man, and this was one of the things that contributed to black men being painted in a very unfair light. You know, if you don't believe in the impact of the way the media portrays things in our real lives, then just look around you. So anyway, that'll be it for now. Yeah, let me know what y'all think in the comment section. Anything about Ike and Tina that I might have missed or you know might have added to this conversation. Well, not really a conversation, a monologue. um, but like I said, leave some in the comment section, and I'll talk to you guys later. Um, Long live the habitual line steppers and Kev we trust. When you don't give up, you win. Uh, Peace out.